As a continued measure to mitigate on the increased threats to the rights, safety and security of citizens in Kenya, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has been in the forefront in advocating for security sector reforms.
The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has been working to ensure that a suitable environment is created to ensure that a lot of efforts are going into addressing the challenges that are faced by human rights defenders all over the country.
As the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, we fully appreciate the role that human rights defenders play in advancing the realization of rights within Kenya. And therefore, in accordance with our mandate, we have purposed deliberately to work to ensure that there is a conducive environment in the country where human rights defenders are able to do their work without any external restrictions.
This is important as security is a precursor to the enjoyment of other rights. In this regard, the human rights defenders and the security agencies have a role to play. The security officers should and ought to be seen as the first line of human rights defenders, and thus all their actions must be geared towards the promotion and protection of human rights. They thus have an important role to work hand in hand with human rights defenders. This requires a need to forge alliances between human rights defenders and the police in ensuring that there is protection and promotion of human rights.
Vijana mara mingi wanaharakishwa na askari wetu. It's either unashikwa, umekelewa makosa, unalazimishwa kuweza kutoa kitu kiasi fulani ili kusudi kuweza kuwa free.
Despite the championing of reforms within the security sector, these reforms are yet to be fully realized, with the HRDs and the security agencies getting into constant conflict with each other. This perceived conflict between HRDs and the law enforcement agencies has thus meant that the two work at cross purposes instead of complementing each other, and this presents a challenge for the protection and promotion of human rights.
Changamoto ni nyingi, na miongoni mwa hizo changamoto ni masala na provincial administration haitaki kuona kwamba wewe unaamsha wale waliolala. Kwa hiyo iwapo utasimama kidete kuona kwamba unawaamsha wale waliolala, basi utatiwa mbaroni na utatolewa tuhuma nyingi tu za kuona kwamba unanyamazishwa.
Askari wao wanatuchukulia kama human rights defenders, sisi tu against polisi. Kwa hivyo hapo kuna changamoto kubwa ambapo wao mara nyingi hutaka kutumia nguvu hata kuliko kutumia sheria.
Hata sisi pia tunakuwa watu wa nini, tunakuwa victimized kwa sababu kama unakosana na askari wanakupiga bure, wanakufanyia, wanakudhulumu hivyo tu, alafu ukijaribu kujitetea wewe unawekwa ndani, unadetainiwa na finally unapelekwa kotini na unawekelewa mambo yenye hata hujaifanya, alafu unapata inakuwa hata tishio, unashindwa hata utafanya kazi na maana gani.
With time, this has called for the need to critically engage the various actors that have historically championed the reforms agenda in the country, that include human rights defenders, the public, the civil society organization, faith-based organization, the law enforcement agencies and the media, on the need to critically support the HRDs in their work.
We need the international organizations and even the local organizations to support the work of HRDs on the ground, so that when we put up maybe requests for funding on our programs, let us get something positive. Let us be assisted in terms of funding to carry out our programs.
HRDs, their work is not easy. We are under a lot of risk and a lot of pressure. So if we can have a kitty or a safe house that once you are at risk you can run to, as we sort out the security issues, we can take your family. You know, once you are a HRD, your family is also vulnerable.
The role of HRDs has also been grossly misunderstood, with several sections of the society, including the government, seeing them as troublemakers. The role they play in society, coupled with what they face on a day-to-day, is not something to be pushed aside. The environment in which they work is fraught with challenges, and there is little public support for the work of HRDs, due to limited understanding of their work and the role they play in promoting respect for human rights.
Almost 89% of people in this country are corrupt. So you find that you'll be fighting a very strong web, it's a strong chain of people. And so you become very unpopular. And the people see you as a meddler, because it's like you are fighting and even the impact of your fighting is not being felt.
Further, the laws that are available in one way or the other infringes on the rights and the ability to deliver on their work. Some of the laws are seen as criminalizing the work of HRDs. This, in the end, affects the work of HRDs and has an overall effect on the enjoyment of both the rights of the local people and the HRDs themselves.
The other thing that we have done is to also create awareness among government agencies, for instance, the police, security agencies, government departments, so that they come to appreciate human rights defenders as people who can in fact facilitate their work, because these are people who have been identified as sometimes trying to restrict the work of human rights defenders because they think that human rights defenders are stumbling blocks in their work.
A key point to stress on this is the need for a legal framework to guide the operations of HRDs so that their work is not criminalized. A HRD policy is important in this regard. Further, various judicial officers should support the work of HRDs through this kind of rulings that they deliver on the cases touching on HRDs and their work. The entrenchment of the Bill of Rights in Chapter 4 of the Constitution of Kenya was a great boost to the work of human rights defenders. The task thus remains for all Kenyans to safeguard this constitutional gain by supporting human rights defenders as they work in our various communities.
The state needs to support the efforts of human rights defenders in ensuring that there is promotion and protection of human rights. Indeed, an inculcation of a culture of human rights in the country. This support can be realized in the form of provision of a policy, regulatory and legal framework that supports the work of human rights defenders.